So the developer has power over the users. So anyway, so even though breaking this agreement is the lesser evil, it's still not good. And if you give your friend a copy, what will she have? She will have an unauthorized copy of a proprietary program. And that's a rather nasty thing, almost as nasty as an authorized copy would be. So, when you have fully understood this dilemma, what should you really do? You should make sure you are never in this dilemma. But how? I know two ways. One is, don't have any friends. The other is, don't use the program. Reject software that denies you freedom to. When someone offers me a program on the condition I not share it with you, I say, my conscience does not allow me to accept that condition, so take your evil software out of here. And that's what you should say. Reject software that forbids sharing. And reject also the propaganda terms that the proprietary developers use to demonize cooperation. For instance, terms like pirate. When they call people who share pirates, what are they really saying? They are saying that helping other people is the moral equivalent of attacking from ships. And morally speaking, nothing could be more false than that. So they shouldn't be called by the same name. Refuse to call these people pirates. Refuse to describe sharing as piracy. When people ask me what I think of piracy, I say attacking from ships is very bad. So that's the reason for freedom too, the freedom to help others, the freedom to redistribute exact copies to others when you wish. And I should point out that each of these four freedoms is literally the freedom to do a certain thing if and when you wish. You're never required to do so. You don't have to share a copy with everybody who asks. The point is you should be free to do so when you wish. So that's the reason for freedom too, the freedom to redistribute exact copies, essential on basic moral grounds. But freedom zero, the freedom to run the program as you wish, is essential for a different reason, so you can control your computing. There are proprietary programs whose licenses restrict even the use of authorized copies. For instance, there is a program for managing a website whose license forbids using the program to publish anything that criticizes the developer. In this case, proprietary software literally takes away your freedom of speech. So, what can I say? If you're not even allowed to use your copy as you like, then you don't control your computing. Your control has been taken away through the license of that software. So freedom zero, the freedom to run the program as you wish, is essential. But it's not enough, because that's the freedom to either do or not do whatever the code is set up to do. Which means the developer still controls what you can do and what you can't do. Not through the license, but instead through the code of the program. In order to control your own computing, you need, therefore, freedom one. The freedom to study the source code and change it to make the program do what you wish. This way, you decide, instead of letting the developer impose his decisions on you. If you don't have freedom one, you can't even tell what the program is doing. And many of these programs have malicious features designed not to serve the user, but instead to spy on the user, restrict the user. There are even backdoors to attack the user. And this is not something rare that would happen once in a rare while when you're unlucky. These malicious features are found in very common proprietary software. One proprietary program you may have heard of that has all of these three kinds of malicious feature is called Microsoft Windows. People have found spy features that send messages reporting on the use of the machine. Of course, the digital handcuffs designed to restrict what the users do with the files in their own computers, those are visible. Because when the software says, you are not permitted to do that in your own computer, of course the users see that they're not being permitted. But the back doors that give Microsoft the ability to give commands to someone else's computer, those are not visible. People had to study cleverly to discover this. But Microsoft has a backdoor in Windows that it can use to forcibly install changes in software. Any change in any software in the machine, Microsoft can install, without asking permission of the nominal owner of the computer. I say nominal owner because when Microsoft has Windows running in that computer, Microsoft has owned that computer. Whatever malicious feature Windows does not have today, it might have, Microsoft might put in tomorrow. We know that the security of Windows is pretty bad. But the security of Windows against Microsoft is not just bad, it's zero. But the Macintosh is malicious too. It has digital handcuffs. Digital handcuffs are also known as DRM, or Digital Restrictions Management. And in addition, Apple has provided optional upgrades, which practically speaking, the users were compelled to install. The newer Apple products, such as the iGrown and the iBad, are nastier. They have backdoors. And for instance, Apple has gone so far as to impose its control over what applications users can install. They can only install the applications that Apple approves of. And not only that, with a backdoor, Apple can deinstall an application. If Apple approved an application a month ago, and today Apple decides it's not approved anymore, Apple can send messages to deinstall that application from iGrowns and iBads. So these are thoroughly malicious products. And then there's the Adobe Flash Player. The Adobe Flash Player has a malicious surveillance feature, which is called super cookies. They are like the cookies in a browser, except that browsers give users some control over when they're permitted, and the Adobe Flash Player does not give users control. Sites can even detect that the same person is talking to both sites by communicating through the Flash Player. So having that program in